Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Formula Fun podcast with me, Jay.
And me, Sinead.
Wow. Monaco, baby.
What a race.
Okay,
I was
right.
glued to my seat, glued to the screen.
I've got a question. Is this Kimi Antonelli's championship to lose? Is it his now?
Well, I didn't think you'd be coming in this early with these big gun sort of questions, you know? Yeah, it is. Yeah. No, yeah, it is.
Like, the boy's not putting a foot wrong.
No, he's not. It was a perfect weekend from him. Yeah.
I think when the safety car
It was
came out, the
quite
gap was something
something.
like 40 seconds.
Yeah, it's quite astounding what he's achieving. It's great. Good for him, you know?
So Sinead is saying this between gritted teeth because she, if you're watching this on YouTube, is a massive George Russell fan. He is,
and George Russell is Kimi Antonelli's teammate. I know he is having the worst luck, and I'm not saying it's all bad luck. You know, there have been some like mistakes on his end too, like that could have been avoided, but quite often those mistakes were as a result of things that happened that were outside his control, and now it's just kind of spiraled into ridiculousness. Like we were sitting watching it, and then like he got a penalty, and then he got like another penalty, and then he got another penalty for not serving the first penalty. It was just it was a painful weekend for me as a George Russell fan, for sure.
I can imagine. Now, actually, on the penalties,
Mm.
5 drivers
were
given speed penalties in the pit lane. So for those who don't know, in the pit lane there is you have to hit a speed limiter because it's reduced to a certain speed for the safety of everybody. So when you notice cars going to the pit lane, they're driving very slowly. They're driving very slowly because they have to because of the rules. The Monaco pit lane is even slower than usual because it is so tight and twisty. But 5 drivers were given penalties throughout the race for speeding in the pit lane. Those drivers were Hamilton, Russell, Piastri, Gasly, and Colapinto. So, the question is, why did so many drivers get penalties?
Well, I actually understand the maths on this one, which took me by surprise. Well, I think I do anyway. So I'm going to have a go at explaining it. So I heard Gasly saying that he had absolutely followed the rules and that he had set his speed limiter in his car to like 59.5 kilometers an hour, something like that. All drivers have these speed limiters in their cars that sort of automatically, like a bit like cruise control, where it just sets it at that limit. So it makes absolutely sure that they don't go above it. And he said, I absolutely am certain that I did that. So I don't think I've made a mistake. And I think that this penalty is false or whatever. Turns out they don't measure your speed in a normal way, in that if at some point you go above 60, that means you've speeded. What they do is they take an average speed versus the distance of what you've traveled to figure out what your average speed was. Am I right so far?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So then in this particular pit lane, it's bigger than it has been in the past because we now have an extra paddock for Cadillac. And so some of the drivers were cutting a very tight corner that normally they would have gone around. And in cutting that corner, have reduced the distance wherein they are being monitored for their average speed. And that's why it happened to so many people.
Yeah. So they have sensors across the pit lane to get that average. And I believe it's like 2 or 3 meters per sensor. And then clearly, people have been cutting.
They have those on the M25, don't they?
They do?
Rather than having speed cameras, as it were, they take an average of your speed across, whatever.
Yeah. And that Cadillac garage just meant that cars were cutting across the Cadillac garage and therefore, like you say, just making the distance a lot shorter. And 5 drivers with speeding penalties throughout the race, which obviously also, because George Russell didn't serve his penalty, he then went from 4th or 5th or wherever he was, all the way back down to 13th. Actually, 15th. When the restart happened, he was 3rd, I think. So he went all the way back to 14th. And bad times for Russell. However, if I was Russell, I wouldn't. Yes, it's a bad race. It sucks. It's not great. What I would say would be more not terrifying, more worrying for Russell is that he was nearly 4 tenths behind in qualifying. That's a lifetime in Formula One.
Yeah, in the same car. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Sinead. But it very much looks like Kimi Antonelli's got this. Very good, very good race from him.
So in terms of Russell's penalty fiasco, who do you think is to blame for this whole, he claimed that he served his first penalty because he double stacked in the pit lane behind Kimi during the safety car? Yeah, but whose fault is that? Like, do you think he was given bad advice, or do you think he took that upon himself?
So he was told not to pit. He was told not to pit that lap, but did because usually when a safety car comes in, people jump into the pit lane. Free pit stop, really.
Yeah.
Whereas he did pit, and then the mechanics just got to work on his car because there wasn't like a plan for that.
Yeah.
He came in behind Antonelli. Antonelli had a massive lead anyway, so it wouldn't have really been much of a double stack, but he was told to carry on, and he had a 20-second, I believe, a 20-second gap to the Gasly, the car behind, and he could have served that penalty the following lap. But poor communication, and just things coming out for Russell, and he was told not to pit, but did anyway, because he thought it was probably the best thing to do because there was a safety car, and it just didn't go his sad to see, because but I think this really does have a direct effect on the next races. I think you're going to see a lot of George Russell going very fast at the next few races, because the next few races are traditional racing tracks. No, but he will. He'll be going very fast at traditional racing tracks that we have coming up. We have Spain coming up next this weekend. He's got to do so. He's got to do something to try and turn his fortunes around.
Okay. Yeah. Well, obviously, I really hope that he does, but it was, as I say, very demoralising. At one point, it was looking quite promising because I can't even remember now, because Gasly also had a penalty, so it looked like they would cancel each other out, and then George got another penalty, and then Gasly got another penalty.
Oh, yeah, but it was so sad for Gasly. He crossed the line. He crossed the line third, and
thinking that he was
clip of him going around the track.
I know. Love him.
It's absolutely heartbroken. His interview is heartbreaking to watch, which is very sad.
Yeah, I really like him too.
Verstappen.
Okay, so that was crazy. I didn't even notice it happening the first time around because I was too busy watching what the Ferraris were going to do to Kimi. And then it was only after they'd all pulled away to the first corner that I was like, wait, what's going on? Yeah. And then when they cut to Max, the first time, his radio message was like him just saying, what should I do? In this like really timid, like quite sad voice. And I was like, this is really unlike Max. Like I would have expected him to be like effing and blinding and being like, what the fuck? Like, what are you guys up? Right. But then when it played it back later, it played it from inside his car right from the start of the race. And indeed, when he takes off and goes nowhere, he goes, what are we doing, guys? This is beep, 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 beep.
Yeah. I think the first one is the first thing he says as soon as he gets going is like, nice one, guys. Lovely. This is brilliant. Great.
This is great.
Really happy about this. Done. And then he's like, what the? Yeah.
And then
really
he's like,
animated.
what should I do? Yeah. It's like the 5 stages
Pull
of
over.
grief.
And then when GP says like, bring it home. And I'm like, bring it home to the end of the race or bring it back to the pit lane. Yeah. Bad times for Max Verstappen, not going well.
He went home.
Oh, did he?
Then I think Martin Brundle, I think, just said, yeah, so he's just gone home. He only lives 500 meters away.
Fair.
And then my partner was telling me about, he showed me a video on YouTube last night of Kimi Räikkönen at Monaco when his car, he drove into the wall and he just got out of his car and walked all the way to his yacht and just took off his top. I mean, that is iconic behavior.
That is just Kimi Räikkönen all over. Going to his yacht, having a few beers and having a wonderful old time. Yeah, Lando Norris as well, current world champion. That's not going well for McLaren.
No. Yeah, it's just kind of bleh, isn't it? Like he's sort of, I think for most of the footage for the race was George trying to catch Hajar
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other one that was a bit further back?
Was it the Williams drivers sort of
Yeah, the Williams
creating space?
drivers created, yeah. And those were the two main battles that seemed to be going on. And then everybody else, like the McLarens, even the Ferraris, obviously Antonelli, whatever, like, and it seemed like 3/4 of the footage of the race was of those two battles, and that was it, which I was happy about because that's where all the fun stuff was happening. You know, who wants to watch an hour and a half of, as amazing as he is, of Kimi Antonelli just driving around the track over and over again?
Yeah, the for a Monaco Grand Prix, it definitely ranks right up there because there was a
Yeah,
lot of things going on. There was lots of team tactics
yeah.
going on. Shout out to
Mhm.
Williams because they managed to get out Albon in the points.
Yeah, it was
Sainz
a
not
close
so
one.
lucky after
Hmm.
Hulkenberg punched him after the restart. Ferrari though, what do we make? So Hamilton was not as fast. That's fine, but
That's
Leclerc
because
was
his mum
not
wasn't there.
happy with the strategy.
Do you remember your
True,
theory last week
didn't
about
win
his
because
mum?
yes.
But do you know who
Yeah,
was there?
I do, but I don't know
Yeah.
enough about this person to be able to talk about it. So, Sinead, the floor is yours.
Well, you keep saying this as if I'm some sort of aficionado when it comes to reality TV, which I'm not. I don't live under a rock.
Sure.
Kim Kardashian is Hamilton's latest squeeze. And that's the first time I think I've seen her at a race, front and center on the footage with the little headphones on, pretending like she knows anything that's going on. But did you see afterwards the video of her? So she's walking through the paddock.
No.
First of all, she's walking through the paddock and she ignores Martin Brundle when he tries to ask her a question, which is like a
Yeah.
cardinal sin of Formula One. If you're a celebrity and you
Can't do
do
that in
that
Formula
like
One.
this, you're just not allowed.
They all
But the
did. They
second,
all ignored it. Cynthia Erivo was another one. She sort of just
did
ignored him, and I was
she?
like, "Oh, come on, guys! Like, you're there to watch
Oh,
F1. Like, come on." Yeah, she said,
oh,
"I'm having a nice time," but
that
then as
makes
soon
me
as Martin
sad.
tried to enter in some sort of interview, she was just like,
Yeah,
"I'm not interested."
right. Anyway, no, have you not seen this? Right. So she's walking past the not the podiums, but like the little, the little stands that they pull up to in their cars when the race is over, the one,
Mm.
2, 3. And there's a stand for Kimi that says number 1 on it, and it has a towel and a bottle of water. She lifts the towel up and cleans her face with it. Have you not seen this?
Right. No. Okay. Right. So Kimi Antonelli ends up with a towel full of Kim Kardashian's.
Yeah. And loads of commenters I've read were like, maybe she thought it said Kim on it because, Kimmy and Kim. And I was like, why would it say Kim on it? Like, why would there be a tile for Kim Kardashian? And I think it speaks to a certain level of entitlement. That's all I'm going to say. So
Sure.
that was very funny.
Very funny to watch.
Yeah. Speaking of Hamilton, his helmet, chef's kiss, loved
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
They're
Very
currently
nice.
selling
Sort of.
They're currently selling replicas of it on the website for 13.5 grand, I think. So this seems reasonable.
Wow.
Mm.
Sure. We can just.
And
That's
they're
just
not,
chump
they're
change
not
for us,
even
isn't it?
replicas. Like, the way his is like literally, I think it's crystal. And I doubt that they're real diamonds. Although after what you told me last week about the Jaguars, maybe they could be real diamonds. But I think they're more like
Maybe.
crystals. But the
Right.
replicas are just like metallic pink paint. It's not even glitter.
Couple of
Yeah.
stickers on it.
Mm, pretty much.
Well, I think Lewis didn't put a foot wrong all weekend. I think he did
No.
really well considering. Came second, did very, very well. Just didn't have enough pace to catch up with Antonelli. Leclerc was not happy with the strategy at the fact they brought him in. And then also, it turns out that Leclerc is also not happy in regards to the brakes that he has been using.
Yes.
So his crash, which brought out another safety car, which then brought out a red flag because the track was crumbling away, which was really weird to see.
Yeah.
Leclerc's been using Brembo brakes and has gone back to Carbon Industries, which is the same brake material, same brake brand manufacturer that he was using when he raced for Mercedes.
Right. Okay.
So it's interesting to see that. I feel like since that's happened, I don't know when that started, but since that's happened, he seems to have really got a hold of this car and is much better on the braking. And Leclerc decided to go in a different direction because he's been using Brembo brakes since he's been at Ferrari. So maybe we're going to see a change in Leclerc because he said that there was borderline
Interesting.
dangerous, which is not great for a brand.
Do you think it's weird that he's just announced a multi-year contract having been signed with Ferrari when he doesn't really seem to have had a great time with them for like the last 4 years? Like,
I think he
do you think
believes in the
it's
Ferrari
just
project.
okay? Well, fair
I
play
think
to
he
him.
really believes in it, and like, I mean, he's the longest serving. Is this going to make him the longest serving driver of Ferrari ever?
Ever? Yeah.
Mm. Which is
Uh,
crazy because I think on the face of
yeah.
it, Leclerc is a very fast driver, but he makes mistakes quite often. But he very openly said, "Look, when I make a mistake, hold my hands up and I say sorry, it was my bad.
Mm-hmm.
But this, taking any blame
Was
for it,
not.
it is the
Yeah.
brakes because it's borderline dangerous." Which is like, oh
Mm-hmm.
God, not ideal. Another team I want to give a shout out to was Audi.
Bortoletto and
Audi had very, very
Hulkenberg.
good pace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Audi had very, very good pace. Unfortunately, it just didn't go their way because of
Mm.
a couple of incidents. So Hulkenberg tagged Sainz at the Sandoval chicane, and no, that's a lie. It's not a chicane. It's a hairpin. Idiot.
Oh my
And
God. Stop recording.
Bor-
Pathetic.
Bortoletto started in the pit lane and finished
Mm.
11th, which I think is a really good showing from
It
Audi
is
as
a
a
really good
team. And I think
showing, you
Alan,
know, notwithstanding that like 6 cars DNF'd, but yes, still.
true, true. Right, should we go into
Right,
our
I have a couple of
predictions
questions
of
for
what we
you,
had?
if that's okay.
Yes,
Is that all right?
of course.
I have a couple of questions for you. Right. So I took like extensive notes this week because there was so much happening. I won't ask you them all, mate. Maybe
Lovely.
some of them are relevant to generally races F1. First question, the Moe pool. You know the swimming pool that says Moe on it, right?
Yeah.
Do you think those letters are floating on the water or do you think they're stuck to the bottom of the pool? Or do you think they're on little stands, and then, because you never see anybody in the pool. It's just, do you think
Yeah,
they like
be corded
ban
off.
people
It's
from
just
swimming
this.
in it for the weekend?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. It's a swimming. It's always been known as a swimming pool section, and I think Moe
Yeah.
have probably done something fancy inside the pool to make it look good.
Right. Based on the shadows from the sun, I think I think that the letters are floating on top. They must be anchored in some way so that they don't move around.
Sure.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that is really important stuff that we're covering here.
hmm
I have a conspiracy theory, and do you know what? When I wrote it down yesterday, I thought, has Jay already said this conspiracy theory that
Ooh.
Toto Wolff has secretly paid off Mercedes manufacturers to give the other teams in Mercedes faulty engines?
Sure. I don't think so. I think that Mercedes have all of the data they need so they can fix problems sooner, and
Mm-hmm.
the Mercedes engine that's in the back of the Williams, the Alpine, and the McLaren would
Mm-hmm.
be the same, but they don't have all of the data required should anything go wrong. For example, there was a thing with Norris's car before he retired saying, try this, we don't know if it's going to fix it. I assume, and I could be wrong here because engineering is not my forefront, I'm just an F1 fan, but I feel like Mercedes would have had a better hold of what was going on
Mm-hmm.
with the engine and
Mm-hmm.
maybe a quicker way of rectifying it. But that being said, throw it back to the last race in Montreal. What happened to your boy George?
That's true, actually. But I think we can all agree that Toto likes Kimmy more than George.
Do you think? Do you think? No, well, I don't know. Like, I saw his interview after the race, and he
No, I
was
don't
saying,
really mean that.
look,
I think we've discussed a lot about how we think Toto is a really, really good, principal, team leader, and whatever.
yeah, no,
He's a good.
I think he is, and I
He
think
is.
he has both. He has both drivers very in his vision, and he's been, all of his interviews, he's been like, yeah, that really sucks for George, but a lot of the team were telling me to go on the podium because this is where I live and I should go on the podium, so I was on the podium, but it wasn't to be, yay, I'm on the podium with my boy and I'm really
Yeah.
happy for Mercedes, because I genuinely was gutted for George because he's had a stinker of a weekend. But actually,
Yeah.
very quickly, that I just want to touch on as well, the engine. Do you know about the engines? Are the ADOU, I think it's called, engine manufacturer ability to upgrade their engine depending on how far they are behind the engine that's the class of the field. Have you heard about this?
Okay. No.
So, who has the best engine on the grid?
Mercedes?
Nope.
Ferrari?
It's been deemed by the FIA that Red Bull have the best engine on the grid.
Okay.
So Mercedes are allowed to do upgrades, as are Ferrari. Ferrari are currently third. But that's mental to me.
That is
Because
mental.
if Mercedes
No,
are
that
allowed
is
to do
mental,
upgrades when they're so far ahead, what?
Yeah, no, that is mental. I wonder what like calculations they used to figure that one out, because Max's car didn't even start. So
Well, it's not, but
it was a
it's not
battery.
the
Yeah,
car.
I know.
It's not.
It's just
Yeah, they just take the engines out and do it. But it is
I
crazy
was
to
just
think that Red Bull have the best
yeah,
engine and they're struggling. But no, I know what
yeah,
you're doing. So,
yeah.
any other questions?
Why is it always Zach Brown? They're
Talking to the
always
commentary.
like, oh, we have like exclusive interview or like an exclusive opportunity to speak with people in the paddock. Let's head over to Zach Brown from. It's literally never anybody else. It's always him. Why? Why is that? Do you know? Have you asked him or
Maybe
no?
I haven't asked him
Is it
personally,
just
but I will
no?
make sure. You know what? I'll give him a text. I'll WhatsApp him and ask
Yeah,
him. Why is it always you?
do that. Yeah, I think it's just that he's a bit of a showman, first of all. And second of all, unlike most of the other teams, he is the face of the management at McLaren, even though he's the CEO and not the team principal. So maybe he has a bit more bandwidth in his brain to spare for talking during the race, as opposed to, you know,
For
maybe
sure.
that's my
It's
theory
Andrea
anyway.
Stella's
But
job to make sure.
yeah,
It's Andrea Stella's job to make sure the race team is running as it should. Whereas
yeah.
Zach Brown's job is just to be there for face, I guess, during an actual race itself.
And let me pick one more. I do have more than that. Did you hear them say that the Monaco trophies are the least expensive trophies that are handed out in the whole of the race season? As in least
Really?
expensive to make. And not only that, but they're made locally in a workshop in Monaco. Like with, so for anybody that hadn't seen them, the Monaco trophy is kind of iconic because the trophy is in the shape of the racetrack. But yeah, monetarily, their value is the lowest. But of course, sentimentally and kind of metaphorically, their value is like, it's like the trophy that you, as a driver, I imagine you'd want to have in your trophy case.
Yeah,
So there you go.
absolutely.
That's not
This
my fun
goes back
fact,
to
by the
the
way. That's
Triple
just something
Crown.
that they said.
Love that. It goes back to the Triple Crown. So the Triple Crown is winning the Monaco Grand Prix, winning the Indy 500, and winning the Le Mans 24-hour race. And only Graham Hill, Damon Hill's father, has completed it. Alonso tried, but he came maybe very close to winning the Indy 500, but then didn't. But then the following year didn't even qualify for it because the Indy 500 is so. It's going around an oval over 200 miles an hour for 500 laps. It's
Right.
intense.
Intense.
And
Yeah.
the slightest hiccup can make it so you can't even qualify for the race. So that was sad for Alonso when that didn't happen. But yes, I think Monaco is definitely up there. Well, just take Gasly. Really sad for Gasly because I think he would have absolutely loved to be on that podium because he's a good guy, Gasly. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be due to penalties. So predictions that we had.
Oh my god. Well, actually, you're worse off than me. I'm pretty sure.
So
because of my
for
little trick.
qualifying, yes, well done. Qualifying in last place, I said Stroll. You said Perez. Guess who qualified last? Lance Stroll.
Yeah.
So I get 1 point.
No.
Pole, got a few. Pole position, you said Hamilton, I said Leclerc. It was Antonelli, so no points for either of us. Best of the rest, I was so close with Lindblad, and you said Colapinto, but it was Lindblad's teammate, Liam Lawson. Big up New Zealand. Well done, Liam.
Was it not Gasly, technically?
Maybe. Hang on. Wait.
Well, Gasly came.
Bear with.
No,
Please hold caller.
after his penalty, where did he fall?
No, it was Lawson.
Yeah, he fell behind
right.
Lawson.
Gasly ended up in P7. Sad. Then we had the top 5. You had Norris in 5th. I had Verstappen. Both of us got no points because Verstappen and Norris didn't finish. As we just said, it was Lawson. In 4th place, you had Antonelli. I had Norris. Norris didn't finish, so he doesn't get any points. You got 1 point for Antonelli. Well done. In 3rd place, well done to Hadjar in the 2nd Red Bull. but no points for us because we both went for Antonelli and Leclerc, although I do get 1 point because Antonelli was in the top 5. Second place was Lewis Hamilton. You said Russell. I said Leclerc, so no points for either of us because neither of them got in the top 5. And then in first place, as we all know, was Antonelli. You said Hamilton, I said Russell, and you got 1 point for Hamilton being in the top 5. So well done. On to Spain. So what does that mean? You got 2 points and I got 1. So that was the lowest scoring week we've had so far. Wow.
To be fair, it was completely chaotic from start to finish. Like it was as chaotic as Silverstone was last year, but in a different way.
Yes.
But it was as unpredictable, which made for a very entertaining watch. Yeah. But
on to Spain. Catalonia. I have just come back from Spain, literally 2 hours ago. I wish I was there this weekend, but unfortunately I am not. So, qualifying last, Sinead, who's your prediction?
Bottas.
Because Sinead is the newbie and I am not. I also had Bottas, but I'm not allowed to do the same. So instead, I'm going to go for the other Cadillac and go for Perez. On pole position, Sinead, who are you going for?
Antonelli.
Okay, I have said Russell.
I knew you were going to do that. I'm putting
all my eggs in George Russell's basket because I think Russell needs a good weekend. Best of the rest. So somebody who isn't in Red Bull, McLaren, Mercedes, or Ferrari.
Lindblad. That's a good prediction. I've gone for Behrman. I think he's sort of dropped off over the past couple of races, but I think he's going to come back fighting. Okay. In 5th place, who have you got finishing the race in 5th? So I am going to go with Leclerc because I'd like him to get some good points and I'd like him to also finish the race, literally. Yes, lovely. But I think based on like this week, potentially his confidence has gone down a bit. So I don't see him being like on the podium, for example. So I'm gonna
I think he's going to go the same direction as Lewis on the brakes. I think that's been said. So it will be interesting to see if that has any effect.
How he adapts.
I have gone for Max. I've gone for Max Verstappen in 5th place. In 4th place, who have you gone for, Sinead?
Hamilton.
So did I. Right. Okay. I'm going for Leclerc in 4th. Okay. So we've both got Ferraris in 4th place. You've gone for Hamilton. I've gone for Leclerc. In 3rd place, because you've already used him, I'm going to say I have Lewis Hamilton. Who are you going for, Sinead, for 3rd place?
Verstappen.
Oh, good.
Max, he's not Verstappen.
Very good. In 2nd place?
Georgie boy.
George Russell. Okay, so that says to me that you're going to put Antonelli in 1st. I have gone the opposite. I've gone for Antonelli in 2nd and Russell in 1st. I think Russell really needs to make some big moves this weekend. So fingers crossed he can do it to make the show a little bit more exciting.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I hope I'm wrong and that you get more points than me this time next week. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm happy to make that sacrifice.
Catalonia in Spain is known for... It sort of has everything in terms of a circuit layout, which actually makes it really difficult to overtake and really difficult to race because, well, that being said, we don't know what the new regulations will bring, but Catalonia has always been known as because it is quite twisty, then it's got some long straights. It used to be the track that was tested on the most because it had a bit of everything. So drivers know this track like the back of their hand. Like this is the track that they will know inside out. Wherever you go on the track, they're going to understand what the asphalt is doing, what the camber of the road's doing, etc. This track is known all over by all the drivers. So it means it's difficult to find little gains as a driver, I think. But maybe we'll have some good racing because of the regulations. Who knows?
Not me.
Okay, and I hate to say not me either, because usually I have more of an understanding, but these regulations are really throwing a bit of a curveball this year. Okay, I have a Who Am I?
Yep. Do you want to go first? Yeah.
Sure. So this week is my Who Am I's, and then Sinead has a Quizifying and a Formula Fun fact, and then we will sign off. But thank you so much for listening, everybody. Oh yes, if you are listening, please give our little podcast a subscribe on Apple Music or Spotify. and on YouTube, because the more people that listen and subscribe, the more people that know about us, and we can continue doing this for years to come. Okay. Who am I? I was a member of the Red Bull Academy driver program and competed in Formula 2 and placed third in 2021. I then competed in 2023 Super Formula Championship, finishing runner-up. I was a reserve driver for Red Bull and AlphaTauri between 2022 and 2024. I made my Formula One debut at the 2023 Dutch Grand Prix after an injury by Daniel Ricciardo. I then replaced Daniel Ricciardo in the 2024 season at the United States Grand Prix. I was then promoted to Red Bull, but then released back to Racing Bulls after only 2 races.
You have to say, who am I?
Who am I?
Liam Lawson.
Yes, well done. That was in honor of him getting a 5th place finish this week. Well done, Liam. And I thought that, you know, we've got all knowledgeable listeners to listen to this. Some are a little bit easier, some are a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
So that was a hopefully a little bit of an easy one. So if you are new to the podcast or new to Formula One, maybe you might have got that. So well done.
Woohoo!
Right.
Well done.
Quizifying, Sinead.
Okay, so in keeping with the way we've kind of been going, my Quizifying is themed to this weekend's race, the Spanish Grand Prix. Okay, so 2 Spanish drivers have won the Spanish Grand Prix in the history of F1. Carlos de Salamanca in 1913 and Fernando Alonso in 2006 and 2000. However, 2 other drivers who can speak Spanish have also won at this Grand Prix. Can you tell me who they are?
Are they both within the 2000s, or is one of them a while
One of
ago?
them is a while ago, and the other one is in the 2000s.
Right. So the one in the 2000s was Pastor Maldonado.
Correct.
Interesting story about that. That was Williams' last win, and shortly after the race, the Williams garage caught fire during all the interviews in the paddock after. Not ideal.
Okay.
Who was the other one? Ayrton Senna? No.
No.
Can you give me his nationality? That might not help me.
I actually don't know, because based on his name, I would have said that he's Spanish.
Right. I'm unsure. I don't know.
It's Juan Manuel Fangio.
He was Argentinian. Okay.
Argentinian.
That makes sense.
There you go. Yeah.
And where was that Spanish race? Do you know?
You know, that is, I could look it up. I was reading up on the Spanish. The history of the Spanish Grand Prix is really interesting. It's moved around a lot, and it's also been mired by a hell of a lot of tragedies. Like it was cancelled for 2 or 3 years because there was a horrible accident at Le Mans that year, and 80 people were killed. Am I right about that? Yes. And then a few years later, in 1975, Spanish Grand Prix, there was quite a lot of tragedy. They wanted to shut the race down, but went on ahead with it anyway. And on the 26th lap, Rolf Stommelin's car crashed when the rear wing broke off, and it killed 4 spectators.
Wow.
So that was pretty dramatic. And the race was called off at lap 29. And it was won by Jochen Mass, but he only got half the points, which is irrelevant, really.
No.
Yeah. So the history of the Spanish Grand Prix is really interesting. If you care to look it up, it's moved around a lot. There's been a lot of controversy around it, a lot of tragedy as well. So fingers crossed that this weekend won't follow in those footsteps, and that all the drivers will be safe.
I think it just goes to show how far Formula One's come in the last 50 years or so. Like, in terms of safety, it's come a long, long way.
Mm-hmm.
Sinead, do you have a Formula fun fact?
I do. And in keeping with what I was just saying, this one also has to do with the Spanish Grand Prix. So in 1980, the the Spanish Grand Prix. In 1980, the Spanish Grand Prix race was of note because on the Friday morning of race weekend, the FISA president announced that the Grand Prix would not be counted as a championship race. As a result of this, none of the factory teams, Ferrari, Renault or Alfa Romeo, showed up, and only the independent constructors competed, and the race was won by Alan Jones in a Williams.
Alan Jones, the Australian Alan Jones, who then went on to win the champion. What year was this?
1980.
That was the year he also won the World Championship for Williams.
Well, there you go.
There we go. Lovely. Okay, well, I'm very excited for the race this weekend. I hope everybody else is too. Sinead, where are you going to be watching the race this weekend from?
That is a good question. Hopefully, the comfort of my own sofa. But that would be... Oh, I'll be flying from London that morning, so let's hope that it doesn't get delayed and I make it home in time to watch. Where will you be watching it from?
I'll be watching it from home. I watched the last race in a pub in Salou in Spain, which was lovely, but I couldn't really quite keep up with everything, so I've had to come back here, re-watch as much as I can to get a solid understanding of what did happen. Yeah, that's me. But I feel very refreshed after my little break.
You look lovely as well. I love your re-tan. Gorgeous. Well, you have been listening to the Formula Fun podcast with me, Sinead.
And me, Jay, who brings the formula.
And I bring the fun.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. Hope to see you soon. Bye! Beep, beep.